Ever held your breath?
Uh-huh.
Like maybe wondering if you could push yourself just a little further?
Oh, yeah.
Today we're diving into the life of a man
Okay.
who made a career out of testing those limits.
Uh-huh.
Harry Houdini,
Right?
the world's most famous escape artist.
Wow.
You've shared some
Yeah.
incredible articles and audio clips with us,
Awesome.
and we're going to uncover the story
Okay.
behind his death-defying escapes, his rise to fame, and ultimately the price he paid for his daring ambition.
What's captivating about Houdini is that he didn't just
Yeah.
burst onto the scene with these elaborate, dangerous escapes.
Yeah,
His journey began much more modestly.
that's right. Our sources describe him starting out doing card tricks and classic illusions.
Yeah.
There's even mention of a trick called metamorphosis.
Yes, metamorphosis involved a cabinet with a hidden compartment, allowing for a seemingly impossible switch between performers.
Wow.
It was a popular illusion. But it didn't exactly set him apart in the world of magic.
So what pushed him towards the escapes that would define his career?
Well, according to our sources, it seems a theater owner named Martin Beck saw potential in Houdini, even if his act wasn't quite there yet.
Oh.
Beck suggested that he ditch the standard magic and focus solely on escape artistry.
So Beck was more than just a theater owner.
Yeah.
He was kind of like Houdini's early mentor.
Absolutely. Beck recognized that to stand out in the crowded world of entertainment, Houdini needed a unique selling point.
Yeah.
And this advice proved to be pivotal.
Wow.
Houdini embraced the challenge, becoming the handcuff king,
Yeah.
even incorporating handcuffs brought by the audience into his act.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
He wasn't just performing for them.
Right.
He was involving them in the danger.
Exactly.
Was that enough to catapult him to global fame?
That's where things get truly remarkable.
Okay.
Houdini needed a stunt that would make headlines, something no one else had the audacity to attempt, and that's where the San Francisco Bay enters the picture.
Ah, yes, 1907.
Yeah.
The year Houdini took the plunge into the frigid waters of the San Francisco Bay,
Right.
handcuffed and shackled.
Wow.
What compelled him to take such a risk?
Houdini wasn't just facing the natural dangers of the water.
Right.
He was also dealing with competitors
Wow.
who were mimicking his techniques.
Oh.
This escape was a calculated move to set himself apart,
Yeah.
to showcase a level of daring that no one could replicate.
It's fascinating how this single event encapsulates so much of Houdini's drive.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't just about the escape itself.
Right.
It was about outmaneuvering his rivals and solidifying his position at the top.
Precisely. And it worked.
Wow.
This 57-second escape wasn't just about physical prowess. It was about conquering the elements, pushing his body and mind to their limits.
Yeah.
This moment was a turning point.
It almost feels like this success fueled a need to constantly raise the stakes.
Yeah.
Was he always chasing the next,
Yeah.
even more dangerous escape?
You're hitting on a key aspect of Houdini's personality.
Okay.
He was driven by a relentless need to outdo himself,
Right?
to prove his mastery over seemingly impossible situations.
Uh-huh.
And this brings us to a particularly chilling incident, his attempt to be buried alive in 1926.
Yes, the buried alive stunt where he was to be sealed in a coffin
Right.
and submerged in a pool.
Yeah.
Even for Houdini, this seems like an extreme leap.
It was incredibly risky. And during a practice run, he stayed submerged for over 90 minutes,
Oh my God.
pushing himself to the very edge of oxygen deprivation.
Wow.
A doctor present warned him that even a minute longer could have been fatal.
90 minutes underwater in a coffin.
I know.
That's unimaginable.
It's crazy.
It's a stark reminder of the lengths he was willing to go to.
Yeah.
Was it purely a desire for fame that drove him?
Right.
Or was there something deeper at play?
That's a question that continues to fascinate people to this day.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know.
What drove Houdini to take such extraordinary risks?
Oh, it's a good question.
It's a complex question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was it fame, a thirst for challenge, or something even more profound?
Yeah.
But let's shift gears for a moment
Okay.
and explore another facet of Houdini's career.
Wait.
One that highlights his competitive spirit,
Okay.
his rivalry with George W. Bindor.
Ah, yes. Bindor,
Right?
the self-proclaimed king of all handcuffed kings.
Exactly.
Our sources paint a picture of intense rivalry
Oh, yeah.
between these two escape artists.
Bindor was a formidable opponent,
Wow.
skilled in his own right,
Okay.
and he directly challenged Houdini's dominance.
So how did this rivalry influence Houdini's career?
Well,
Did it push him to develop new escapes, to constantly innovate?
absolutely. Think back to that San Francisco Bay escape.
Right.
It wasn't just a spectacle for the audience. It was a strategic move to outmaneuver rivals like Bindor
Uh-huh.
by raising the bar so high. Yeah.
Houdini forced his competitors to either step up or be left behind.
That's a brilliant insight.
Right.
It wasn't just about personal achievement.
Uh-huh.
It was about strategically maintaining his position at the top.
Exactly.
Did Bindor ever try to replicate or even surpass that underwater escape?
Interestingly, there's no record of Bindor attempting a similar stunt in the San Francisco Bay.
Really?
Perhaps the risk was too great even for a skilled escape artist like him.
It seems that Houdini's gamble paid off.
Yeah.
He understood the delicate balance between showmanship and genuine risk, creating a sense of danger that few dared to challenge.
Right.
But did this rivalry solely revolve around physical escapes? Or were there other dimensions to their competition?
Our sources reveal another fascinating aspect of Houdini's life that intersected with his rivalry. Houdini wasn't just a master escape artist.
What?
He was also a dedicated debunker of fraudulent spiritualists.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I had no idea about this side of Houdini. It's pretty fascinating.
Tell me more.
Houdini was deeply skeptical of mediums who claimed to communicate with the dead,
What?
particularly those who preyed on vulnerable, grieving families.
Oh, wow.
He saw their deception as a betrayal of public trust
Okay.
and dedicated a significant amount of time and energy to exposing their fraudulent practices.
So this wasn't just a passing interest for him.
No.
It was a personal crusade.
Absolutely. He even offered a substantial reward to any medium who could genuinely demonstrate supernatural abilities under controlled conditions.
Really?
But his years of experience in magic and illusion gave him a unique advantage.
Yeah.
He could often spot the tricks and techniques these so-called mediums used
Oh, wow.
to deceive their audiences.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
It seems there was more to Houdini than just spectacular escapes.
right.
He was a man of reason, determined to expose those who exploited others through trickery.
Precisely. He was a champion for truth and critical thinking. A stark contrast to the shadowy world of spiritualism that often preyed on people's hopes and fears.
It's amazing how these different aspects of Houdini's life,
Right.
the escape artist, the showman, the skeptic, intertwine to create such a complex and fascinating figure.
It certainly makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Did his drive to debunk frauds stem from the same impulse that fueled his escapes?
Right.
Was it all about control mastery and exposing those who manipulated reality for their own gain?
It's an intriguing thought.
Yeah.
Perhaps his escapes weren't just about physical feats,
Right.
but also a way of asserting his own agency, his power to overcome limitations and challenge deception.
It's a compelling idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
His entire career, both on stage and off,
Right.
could be seen as a relentless pursuit of truth and authenticity,
Uh-huh.
a battle against the illusions that confine and deceive.
That adds a whole new layer to his story.
Yeah.
But even with all we've uncovered about Houdini's life, one question still lingers.
Okay.
What drove this relentless pursuit of pushing boundaries?
Perhaps the answer lies not just in the external spectacle, but in the internal struggles he might have been facing. Maybe his escapes were a way of grappling with something deeper, something within himself.
Yeah, it's fascinating to think of his escapes as a reflection of those inner struggles.
Right.
It adds a layer of depth to his story,
Yeah.
beyond just the spectacle.
Yeah.
But even though Houdini's long gone, his impact is still felt today.
Yeah.
His name has become synonymous with escape artistry,
Yeah.
inspiring generations of performers and captivating audiences worldwide.
That's right. His legacy extends far beyond his own lifetime.
Yeah.
Think about it. We use the word Houdini
Right.
in everyday language to describe anyone who's skilled at escaping seemingly impossible situation. It could be anything from a tricky problem to just a boring meeting.
You're absolutely right. It's like his name has evolved into a verb, a symbol of ingenuity and resourcefulness.
Exactly.
And his influence doesn't stop at language.
No.
His story has been told and retold in countless books, films, and TV shows.
Right.
Actors like Tony Curtis and Adrian Brody have portrayed him on screen,
Yeah.
and his incredible escapes have been reimagined in countless ways.
It's pretty
It
amazing.
makes you wonder how these portrayals have shaped our perception of Houdini.
Right.
Do you think they capture the true essence of the man?
That's a difficult question to answer.
Yeah.
Some portrayals focus mainly on the spectacle,
Right.
the daring feats, and the showmanship,
Uh-huh.
while others try to delve into the more complex aspects of his personality,
Right.
his ambition, his drive, and even his flaws.
It seems like there's no single definitive portrayal of Houdini.
Yeah.
He remains an enigma,
Right.
a figure who continues to fascinate and inspire debate even today.
Exactly. And that's a big part of what makes his legacy so enduring.
Uh-huh.
He's like a blank canvas onto which we can project our own interpretations.
Yeah.
And fascinations with escape mastery and the limits of human potential.
But as we're discussing his legacy, I think it's important to acknowledge that there are some ethical questions surrounding his work.
Okay.
We've talked about the extreme risks he took, pushing himself to the very edge. Was there a point where it crossed a line from daring performance into something reckless?
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
Some argue that his stunts were unnecessarily dangerous.
Right.
That he was putting himself at risk not just for the thrill,
Yeah.
but also for fame and attention.
And it wasn't just about Houdini himself.
Right.
What about the impact on his audience? Were they, in a way, complicit in this culture of risk-taking by continuing to attend his shows?
It's a complicated issue.
Yeah.
On one hand, audiences were undeniably drawn to the spectacle, the possibility of witnessing something truly extraordinary and even dangerous. But on the other hand, I think there was also a recognition of the skill, artistry, and dedication behind his escapes.
It's a delicate balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
The line between danger and artistry, risk and reward.
Precisely. And it's a balance that still fascinates us today.
Right.
Not just in escape artistry, but in all forms of entertainment and even in our own lives.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Harry Houdini, what's the key takeaway? What can we learn from this master of illusion, this risk taker, this debunker of frauds?
Perhaps the most important lesson is that the line between reality and illusion is often much blurrier than we think.
Okay.
What we perceive as real is often a carefully crafted performance, a manipulation of perception. And just as Houdini mastered the art of escape, we too have the power to break free from the constraints that hold us back.
Right.
Whether they're physical, mental, or societal,
Yeah.
these limitations can be overcome.
That's a powerful message to end on. We've delved into Houdini's life, career impact on popular culture, and even the ethical considerations surrounding his work. I think we can all agree that he was a truly remarkable figure.
Absolutely.
One of a kind and unforgettable.
Houdini was a legend.
Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you with this final thought.
Okay.
As you go about your day, think about the things that constrain you, the challenges you face, the limitations you encounter. And remember the enduring lesson of Harry Houdini.
Right.
Escape is always possible, even from the seemingly inescapable.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
It was great having you.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.